Hey guys, it's Star the Flippin' Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin' Hippos. Today is February 1st, the beginning of a new month. I love the beginning of a new month. On Wednesday, I showed you guys how to set up sales in your store. And if you didn't watch that video yet, I'll go ahead and link it down below for you guys for your convenience. And I said I would come back on Friday and show you guys promoted listings. Promotions are sales that you run in your store. Promoted listings are listings that you pay an extra percentage when they take your final value fees. You pay an extra percentage to promote them or have them advertised or pushed up in the search engine. How much you pay extra is up to you. They have a recommended rate that eBay recommends. It's called a trending rate. It's really high. I don't recommend using that. Some people do, but I think it's really high. We only do 1%. We're already paying $59.95 for a store. We already pay final value fees. And when we go over our 1,000 listings in a month, which we always do, we're paying 10 cents for each additional listing. That's a lot of money that eBay's already getting. I don't really feel like I need to give them a lot more. So we do our promoted listings at 1%. I don't recommend that you don't do promoted listings because everybody's doing them. So it's kind of like a catch-22. If everybody is doing promoted listings, then how is anybody getting a leg up or being seen higher in the search engine than anyone else, because we're all promoting our listings? But then on the other hand, if everybody is promoting their listings and you're not, you're definitely not being seen. You're definitely being pushed down in the searches. So the only logical thing to do would be to push up the percentage that you're willing to pay eBay, right? But I don't buy into that. I don't know. I just feel like ever since these rolled out, there's been a lot of schools of thought. There's been people who are for them and against them. And I think that everyone should absolutely be running promoted listings because everybody is running promoted listings. And again, if you're the only one that's not, you run the risk of everyone else having their items higher up in the searches than yours. But like I said, I only do 1%. I don't feel like eBay needs that much more money. And there have been several resellers that have done videos or talked about it in the Facebook groups or on Instagram where they've gone and searched for a particular item in their store that they know they have. And the promoted listing shows up at the bottom of the search, and the non-promoted version of it shows up higher. So are you really getting a boost from the promoted listings? Why are the promoted listings showing up on page 2 and page 3 of the search? That extra percentage you're paying is supposed to get you a boost. So are you really getting a boost or not? I don't know. But I feel like anytime we have a chance to get an advantage to show up in searches higher, anytime we get a chance to promote our items or to sell them, I think you should take the chance. So I do recommend that everybody do promoted listings, but maybe only keep it at like 1%, 1.5%. The trending rate is really high, and I don't think anybody wants to pay an extra 9, 10% on top of the final value fee you're already paying and whatever store fees you have and your extra listings and that. So I do recommend people run them. Here they are down here. Now Friday's the morning, like I said, that I always do ours. So I figured that I would actually go through and set mine up start to finish the exact way I do every Friday morning and just let you guys watch. One more thing I want to mention before I get into this. You can set your promoted listings up to end on a certain date, or you can set them up indefinitely and then end them manually. Why would you want them to end and restart? Well, look at this graph. You see these highs and these lows? If you set up promotions, you will notice that the day that you set your promoted listings up or the very next day. Within the first 2 days, you will see a spike like this right here. You will see a jump. This is here you guys can see your impressions, your clicks, and your solds and all that. You will see a jump on this graph within a day or two of starting your promoted listings. And then you'll see a gradual downhill. And that is why people stop them and restart them. Because every time you set up a new promoted listing campaign, you get a boost, you get a jump. But then over time, you get this downhill decline. And at that point, you want to stop those campaigns or end them and restart new promoted listing campaigns to get that boost again. So you can either set yours up indefinitely and come in and end them on your own manually and restart them, which is what I do. Or you can set them up the same way that you do your sales to end on a certain day. Now, there are some folks who think if you set an end date on your promoted listings that you're going to create a sense of urgency with eBay. So it's along the same thoughts of if you set up a sale that ends in 2 days and your buyer sees it, that it's ending, they feel like they need to take advantage of that sale. You create that sense of urgency within your buyer to get the item now. Well, some people think that you could do something similar with promoted listings. So if eBay's algorithm that takes these promoted listings and gives them that boost in the search engine sees that your campaign or your promoted listing ends in a day or 2 days or in a few hours, it will create a sense of urgency with that to push your item or your listing higher in the searches to try to get it to sell before that promoted listing campaign ends so that eBay gets that extra money from the sale. So I tried it. I didn't see any difference. When promoted listings first rolled out, we were doing the indefinite end and just manually ending them and relisting them ourselves. And then I heard about how setting the end date out like 2 days could create that sense of urgency, and maybe you would sell more or have a higher boost when you got closer to the end of the campaign. And I didn't see a difference. I tried it for several months. I let it run through for like 2-3 months doing it that way, and we didn't see any difference. Our graph looked exactly the same. Our sales were exactly the same. We didn't sell any more promoted listings than normal. Everything was the same, except every 2 to 3 days I had to come in here and restart new campaigns. These are not like sales where you could set them up. So how I showed you on Wednesday how you could set up sales for weeks in advance and have them scheduled and just sitting there and then they kick in on the date you picked, you cannot do that with promoted listings. You cannot set them up for the future. You cannot schedule them out. So if you have all of your listings on a promoted listing campaign that ends in 2 days, you cannot schedule one to start after that one ends. It's an unfortunate thing, but it is a thing. So when I was doing the 2 to 3 days campaigns, I had to come in every 2 to 3 days and do new ones. No, it's not hard. No, it doesn't take a long time. But because we were not seeing any difference, it wasn't worth the time. You guys know that I really try hard to manage my time well. I'm big about time management. And I also don't feel like you should spend time on anything that's wasting your time. So, if we had seen a huge boost in our promoted listings and our sales had really gone up, then it would have been worth coming in every 2 to 3 days and setting them up again. But because we didn't see a difference, it just made sense to just go back to our old way, which is every Friday I just set them up with no end date, the indefinite ending on the campaigns. And then I come in the next Friday, manually end the campaigns, and start them again. So, you can see here I have 4 of them set up because you can get 500 listings in each campaign, and we have over 1,500 listings, so we have to do 4 campaigns. So I just come in every Friday, and you can see over here, before I show you that, you can see over here, you can name your campaign anything you want. You just click in that box, and when you create it, you also get an option to name it. We've been doing this for a long time. We are on campaign 57. We just name them the next number ever since we started doing these. So today I'll be doing campaign 58. You see the 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. That's just for us to know that this was all the same week, and this is just the second page, the third page, and the fourth page. I know it sounds confusing, but it works for us. The system works for us. But you guys can name it whatever you want. You could name it campaign 1, campaign 1 page 2, whatever you guys want to do to keep track. This just works for us. So I come in every Friday morning, and I end these just like this, one by one in the mall. Okay. Then I'm going to go up here to create a new campaign. You can select your listings individually or do select listings in bulk. I do them individually because when you do them in bulk, here, I'll walk through it real quick with you guys. You actually have to upload a CSV file, and it's a little more complicated and not as easy. But let's say I wanted all my store categories. Then I would say continue. You can see here that they actually want you to exceed the trending rate. Or you can apply the same rate to all listings. You can enter anything you want in there. Oh, there's a 1%. Or you can click this, I will set my own. Then you click continue. And then you would click launch. If you come back to this page and say I will set my own ad rates and continue, it wants you to drop that CVS file I talked about. I just think it takes a little more steps because you can only do 500 at a time, like I said. But doing them individually, I just feel better about because I'm selecting them myself. I'm making sure that my rate is 1%. And then you also get the option of the end date if you want. So come down here and check where it says manage promoted. You want to make sure that's not checked. And I always want to see 500 at a time, so I go to the bottom of the page and select 500. And then this box up here at the top, right next to where it says showing 1 through 500, I check that, and it checks all 500 on this page for me. Then I click set ad rate down here. And you can go down through the list on each individual listing, and you can set the percentage on each listing if you want. They have applied the trending rates for me already, and that's what's showing. The trending rate on this $12 plush is 10%. No thank you. So up here at the top, I don't go through each individual listing. Like I said, we do 1% across the board. So I go up here where you see apply a single ad rate to all listings, and you see it's already set at 7%. That's what they want. I move down here to 1. Then I go to review, and I would name this 58 because that's what campaign we're on. And then this more options right here. So underneath where you name your campaign, there's a little more options and an arrow. If you click that drop down arrow, this is where you can do your dates, start date and end date. I just let mine go indefinitely, click launch. It takes you back to this main page, and boom, active. And there's no end date. It's continuous because I never saw a difference when I did an end date, but you guys are certainly welcome to do an end date or experiment between an end date and a continuous. But then I just go down and I do it again until I've got all my listings. So I would go back to select listings individually. Make sure this box is not checked. I want to see 500 on the page. and I scroll down to the bottom again because now I want page 2. You can see on page 1 all of them are already promoted. Now I'm on page 2. I select them all, set ad rate, click that, apply a single ad rate to all listings, and I move the blue button down to 1% review. And then I would name this 58.1 and launch. And I'll do that 2 more times to make sure that I get all of our listings promoted. You can see here where they say they're promoted. So I just go through it again. It takes a couple minutes. It's not hard. The only thing is you just want to make sure you're keeping track of what you're naming them, and make sure that you are changing the rate, because you don't want to just sit with their trending rate. I really don't recommend it. You can see it's as high as 11% on some things. Almost 12% here. Almost 12% here. That's really high. So just make sure that you pick a rate that you're okay with paying and that you're changing it. Because if you don't, they will automatically apply their trending rate for you. And as you saw, it can be as high as 12%. In some cases, it's probably even higher. And I don't think they need that much money. I'm just going to go through and set them all up while I talk to you guys so you can watch me do it a couple of times so you're familiar. This is the last one, so I'm going to go to page 4. This one won't quite be 500, 316. And again, I will set my own rate. Thank you very much. Greedy eBay. They want all the money. They want all your money. Oop. I don't know, it's 58.3. So yep, now all of my listings are set up on promoted listings for the week. And it took 4 of them to get everybody, but that's fine. So moving forward, anything between now and next Friday, when I end these ones and set up new ones, any new listings won't be promoted. But we're kind of okay with that because we kind of feel like, well, giving something a week to sell, giving it a chance to sell in that week without promoting it, because if it does sell, then we didn't pay any extra promoted percentages to eBay. And there are certain items that will sell within a week. It happens, you know, not so common with clothing, but other things that we sell. And if you guys have items that sell themselves, quote unquote, things that are high demand, high sell-through rates, fast flips, then you maybe don't want to promote those items anyway, like a cell phone. You don't really want to promote stuff like that because then you're just giving eBay more money on something that would have sold itself. But definitely for like clothing and plush and long tail items, you would go ahead and do the promoted listings. At least that's what I would recommend, because everybody's doing it. You're going to not have any kind of advantage or edge against everyone else that has the promoted listings. But you know, you can go in every day and start a new campaign if you want to grab all of the new items that you just listed. There are people that do that at the every day when they're done with their listings for the day. They will create a new campaign to grab them. Like I said, I just do it once a week. Everything that's new, if it doesn't sell, it'll get grabbed next week. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any more questions, comments, you guys can leave them down below. Do me a favor, you guys, smash that like button before you leave. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to our channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Until next time, you guys have a good night.